Good afternoon out there and welcome to BDTV Roundtable, where we discuss issues of interest to you and me in our country, Nigeria. Today, we'll be discussing two key issues: the demise of former President Muhammadu Buhari, and of course, the just concluded local government election in Lagos State. The nation was thrown into mourning on Sunday, July 13, when the news broke that Nigeria's former military ruler and civilian president has died in a London clinic. The Nigerian government has declared 7-day mourning, while the National Assembly has also suspended plenary for 1 week to honor Buhari, who is being buried in his hometown of Daura in Katsina State on Tuesday. Well, we want to wish or pray that God will receive the soul of the former president, even as we pray that God will console his immediate family and, of course, the Nigerian nation. We mourn the president, but of course, there's always time to begin. Like even the Holy Book says, there's time to born, time to die. I think Buhari has done his best for Nigeria and has gone to have his own eternal rest. And so I have two gentlemen with me in the studio. I have the Sunday editor of BusinessDay, Mr. Agomo Zebulon. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
I also have with me the usual man in the house, Mr. Chukwuebuka. He's been our usual guest. You are welcome, Mr. Roku.
Thanks for being here once again.
Thank you so much for coming. Without much ado, let me start with you, Mr. Zeb. Yeah, Buhari became Nigeria's head of state in 1983 when he overthrew the civilian government of Alhaji Shehu Shagari, was the MPN then in 1983. And then, of course, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know which one to actually take now. We also saw that he was in power for maybe just 20 months or thereabout. Of course, another military ruler, Ibrahim Babangida, also overthrown. But so let me start by asking you, how will you summarize Muhammadu Buhari's in the overall his impact in the political landscape, and of course his military, career?
Yeah, thank you so very much. First, I would like to say condolences to the immediate family of the late President Muhammadu Buhari, and of course to the chief mourner, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and to the general populace for the great loss. Buhari, I can say, was one of the greatest beneficiaries in the country in terms of what he became in life. A country of 2 million people. Someone had the privilege of ruling that country twice.
2 times. Yeah.
First, as a military ruler, and secondly, as a civilian ruler. It's a no mean feat.
Yes.
To that extent, I can say that he deserves our praise, and he deserves our thanksgiving, because he has really acquitted himself. As you started in your opening remarks, you said the Holy Scripture said there are times to born and times to die, and the bell has tolled for him this time.
Yeah.
So, having said that, I also commend the late President Buhari for being able to really switch. You know, as a military head of state who was brought up in what he knew as a military man was just dishing out orders, command, and which must be obeyed. So if he said, carry this house, the lesser officer will say, your wish will be my command. So your command will be my wish. That was the language in the military. But for him now to succumb to the bureaucratic nature of
civilian administration.
It's a thing to also commend him for, because he now had to give himself to all the exigencies, all the filing and all that were not his usual self, that was not part of his training. And the military, where he undertook a lot of courses to become what he became in that sector. So to that extent, I can say that he needs to be praised. He needs to be commended for having that shift. Whatever anyone could say today, he played his role as a military head of state, even though the jury is still yet out on what transpired then, because we believe that he brought decorum into society,
discipline,
with his
war against
indiscipline. Even though many people today believe that that was bettered by the late General Tude Diabo, but who was the subordinate. But of course, a subordinate couldn't have done anything without the express
permission,
free hand or the permission of his boss. So to that extent also, I can say that he impacted positively on the psyche of Nigerians. What many people remember so vividly today are the last 8 years of his administration, what happened and what did not happen. And I think we are coming to that in the course of this discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Zeb. Juka, let me come to you. What would you say? Were the defining things for you when looking at Buhari back in 1983, 85, within that short period that he was in power? Before we come to his civilian administration that lasted 2015 to 2023, let's still a bit look at what stood out for you when he came to power in 1983 to 85.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Let me also share in the pain of Nigerians for the death of their former president. No matter who Buhari was, of course, he's a human being that has died. And naturally would always express grief over that death. Even though Buhari can be described as a man with a cat with 9 lives, because severally was rumored to have died when he was still in power. Eventually, he was able to come out even stronger and lasted till the last 2 days when it pleased God to take him. So it's my condolences to his immediate family, particularly and then to Nigerians as a whole. When Buhari was military head of state, we were still young boys, secondary school then, but not old enough to. We are old enough to understand some of the things that were happening.
Yes.
I could recall that when Buhari came in, Nigeria as a society was almost at the brink of collapse in terms of lawlessness. And that was why somebody said that Nigeria was defined by executive lawlessness, which was exhibited by the politicians of that era. So when Buhari came, of course he came because he could not, by his nature as a military, as a soldier, who actually would always want order, would always like discipline wherever he finds himself. And that was how the idea of Kai was born.
War against
discipline was born. And of course, everybody had the heat of that particular program, where we will see. I remember one day in Onitsha, a late evening like that, and they said there was no movement. And one man came with his pass with his what do you call it? Mrs. card in those days.
Yes.
What the young soldiers on the road did that day was just to ask the man to come with his, because there was sanitation. Open your boot, the boot of a Mercedes car then. And all the dead that were removed from the gutter were packed into the boot of that Mercedes car. So that was how far they could go. But you know that in Nigeria, when there is a law, for instance, or another, those who are enforcing that normally go extra mile, to go beyond what the law is supposed to achieve. And that was what we saw that time. I can also remember on the economic front, Buhari saw that there was a lot of money being stolen and taken away outside the country. And that was how the idea of changing the currency in 1984 was born. I personally nearly lost my life in the course of trying to change my father's money or deposit my father's money in the bank in those days. People nearly squeezed life out of me because it was a struggle. You remember there was a timeline.
There was a time,
deposit your money
or you lose
it.
Yes.
And of course, so many people lost their money because many didn't have bank accounts. My dad, for instance, didn't have bank account, but I had two elder brothers who had bank. They were working. So I had to deposit money here, deposit money. Both of them were in school there, unfortunately. And then I was the only one around running that errand. So to an extent, I think one could give Buhari a pass mark for always trying, especially during his military time, to instill discipline in a very lawless society. But the truth, however, remember, he always did what he did with bitterness. And that was why his policies were never welcome by the generation of the people. But he meant well when it comes to the idea of instilling discipline in society and then making us behave as if we are another society.
Don't forget also, you have mentioned economy. Don't forget that there was economic recession during his regime, the first recession we had under him. As a civilian president, we had two under him. So it shows that he was not a very good manager, economic manager. So, which was why when he brought in some specialists like Bismarck and some others, we thought that Nigerians were going to see great things. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see such.
Okay, so you are already speaking. Yeah, you are already speaking about his second coming in 2015.
Sorry,
but let's even look at
his first time.
First time
that was actually defined by serious hardship
and corruption. Also.
Whether you are talking about social life of the people, it was hard. Talking about economic life of the people, it was also hard. There was never a time that Buhari's regime brought any relief for Nigerians. Whatever we gained from his war against discipline by instilling discipline was lost by especially that singular act of ordering the change of the naira. Which was also done
before the 2023 election.
I don't know what to define Buhari legacy, but we'll be there.
So I mean that was the first phase of Buhari as a military leader. So let's come to 2015. But again, before coming to 2015, there's something that Buhari tried so much to become president after he was ousted by Babangida and he tried to become president, civilian president. He tried 2003, 2007, 2011, and so eventually succeeded in 2015 because of the merger of his party CPC, AC, and of course part of the Afghan. So I want to ask you, Zeb, how will you look at Buhari's administration as a civilian president? Let's look at what do you think gave him the success in 2015, after trying 3 times and failed?
I'm failing 3 times.
Yeah, thank you. I think Buhari enjoyed a cult-like followership in the North. He was seen as someone who cannot make mistake, infallible by a number of people in the North. They saw him as integrity personified. They saw him as, in fact, just an excellent figure. You know, the North understand the politics of Nigeria.
Very well.
And with that court following, permit me also to say that because of lack of education in that part of the country, many people do not sit down to analyze what is good for them and what is not good for them. You can say it's a blind following. Yeah. People are saying, okay, this man, wherever he goes, we go with him. There we are. So there is people we are willing to vote. It is being said that Buhari had 12 million votes
already
kept for him, whatever that means. And that's what the CPC people always trumpet, that Buhari as a person had that vote, number of votes kept. Whatever, and that is also the problem that is breeding between ACN bloc and CPC bloc now, that they say already that this man had this, and that what these people brought was about few million votes to get to what he got. So what I want to say is that given the kind of politics that is being played in Nigeria, the Northerners believe in him. What do they call them? The Talakawas believe in him. Anytime he steps out, they see him as the leader, political leader of the North. That integrity they associated him with really helped him to get whatever it is. And also, put side by side, you know, he contested in 2011, he contested with
Jonathan, against Jonathan.
No, 2011. Atiku Abubakar, the primary.
Okay, the primary is
the primary because that time was this. Atiku went to contest under APC.
Yes.
In Lagos, where they held their primaries, and he defeated Atiku.
That was 2014.
Under ACN. So not 2014 now. It's 2014. This man was it ACN, where they held the
TBS.
At TBS. So it was that followership he was enjoying that made him to be seen. Many people, some people voted for him because in 2015, people have started losing confidence in the APC government, represented by Jonathan.
No, PDP, not
PDP. In PDP government represented by Jonathan. So people believed that this man could do something better for Nigeria. Yeah. And that was why Nigerians rallied around him and gave him a massive vote that made him to win Jonathan. Because at the time Jonathan went into the election already, I think he has lost a lot of support from Nigerians. As a person, give it to him, on the face value, President Buhari was a man that people could say, yes, this person is not after money. He's not after things of this world and all that. So people believe that he was not going to steal their money, unlike what has been happening. Yeah. So that was some of the things that gave him the massive support he enjoyed from Nigerians. So whether he squandered that goodwill by Nigerians, well, it's left to be seen.
Yeah, exactly. The question I want to ask you, Mr. Roko, like he said, there was this trust. You know, we may call it blind trust. I don't know, but people just believe that Buhari was a man of integrity, a man who is not corrupt, a man that his image, you know. People believe that when he comes in, that he will be able to change a lot of things. even including insecurity, because you recall, the issue of insecurity was beginning to really take a toll on the nation while Jonathan was there. So people actually believe, when, one, with his military background as a general, and the secondly for the fact that he's a man of integrity, because there was also this notion that some of the issue around insecurity was as a result of people not being sincere. There was issue about maybe arms bought for the military. Some of those things were being or people were being sold, and there's an issue around still corruption and all of that. So I don't know. I'm going to ask you, what that expectation, did Buhari meet that expectation when eventually he became the president after being voted?
Let me build on what Zebron has said earlier. If Buhari won the election, it was perhaps on three planks. The followership he enjoyed from this part of the country. The other one was the trust deficit that Nigerians now had in the existing, that is Jonathan administration. And then whatever it is that the Bola Tinubu brought to bear on that election. Because if Buhari had tried and failed to become Nigerian president 3 times, and then somebody from somewhere now came and said, "Oh, come and join me. We will make this happen." It means whatever contribution that person made, it was quite significant.
Yes.
And cannot be wished away. But at the time they were going to the polls, Jonathan was almost like just a schoolboy. Nigerians needed just anybody, but not Jonathan.
Exactly.
Across
geopolitical zones.
Whether you are talking about the technocrats, talking about the political class, talking about even students, even the market women needed somebody that was not Jonathan. Because the 16 years of PDP on the saddle was diminishing, his effect was diminishing as the years passed by. We see executive recklessness, the executive lawlessness, we saw legislative impunity and rascality. A lot of things were just not going on well. Plus, the fact that Jonathan seemed to have lost grip of the country as at the time this election was coming on. So a lot of things played out to give Buhari that victory. But to ask whether the expectation was met, or it was a great expectation, so to speak. What
it was
Charles Dickens called great expectations.
Great expectation.
Yes. Because you are expecting to see a pregnant woman is just expecting the bouncing baby boy. At the end of the day, it becomes a stillbirth. You can see the level of disappointment.
Yes.
After 9 months of pain, 9 months of discomfort, you deliver a stillbirth. A child that is lifeless baby. It can be traumatic. It can be, nothing can equal the kind of disappointment Nigerians had. And the fact that Buhari was not just because he didn't do this kind of things Nigerians expected, especially fighting corruption, fighting insecurity as a military officer, he became docile. He was just there, watching a lot of funny things happening under his watch. So, talk about expectation, it was a great one. Like the kind we had in Charles Dickens' Great Expectations.
But so I come to you, Mr. Were those expectations met? I want to ask, because you said, there was this expectation that once Buhari come in as a man of integrity, a former military general, who even fought in the Nigerian Civil War. So there's this coming with that background of a general that would tame the insecurity that was already brewing under Jonathan. I don't know. Will you say under him that expectation of taming insecurity was met?
Well, let's start from the ground lost when after his inauguration. Remember that he never constituted his cabinet until after 6 months after he was sworn into office. And that Nigeria paid for it. This was a president that was being expected, that was expected to hit the ground running, as they always say, economy-wise, social-wise, political-wise. Everything was at standstill, and things started degenerating. Now, if you talk about insecurity, the person of Buhari did not help Nigeria. Let's face the facts. The Boko Haram issue, people were beholding his face, even to the point that when soldiers were sent to fight them,
they were defeated.
They were beholding the face, the body language of the president, whether he would like it or not, because at that time it was assumed that President Buhari was even against fighting those people, and when people were fighting them, he said people were killing their people, the Northerners. So it created confusion. Those who were supposed to go head on with these people were reluctant to do so. The herdsmen, you knew what happened at that time, that when people wanted to go against them, they were afraid, because the then president was seen as their patron.
Yes.
Nobody could fight them. You had the fight, you knew the level of fight he had with Sam Autumn, the former governor of Benue State. So who called him out, who accused him of sponsoring the carnage in Benue State. So Buhari never fought insecurity. He would just sit down, look all through, and things, people were dying, people were being killed. So no president, if it is on that plank alone, Nigeria shouldn't even bother to even give him any state burial, because the human waste, the human carnage that happened under his watch was unfortunate.
Quite unfortunate.
Quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
we wouldn't be where we are today if Buhari really had done come to the service chiefs here appointed. Allegedly, some of them were helping themselves with the budget to fight these insurgents and others, and also to acquire military hardware to fight.
Okay, so thank you. As we begin to wrap up, just in a few seconds, Chuka, what will you say as Buhari is being buried? He's being given state burial in the Daura, his hometown, on Tuesday. The body, we are told, has arrived, and then he's being committed, will be buried on Tuesday. So I want to ask you, what will you say are the legacies that Buhari has stepped in?
Well, from the part of the country where I come, we say we don't talk ill about the dead. So to that extent, I would say that Buhari, perhaps he came, he saw, whether he conquered is a matter for debate. But you're talking about legacy as far as Buhari is concerned. He may have done one or two things positively, but overall, Buhari left a legacy of pain for Nigerians. Where we are looking at the economy, people suffered more under Buhari. Why we are not talking more about Buhari's pain at this time that have died? Because we are having a worse government than his. If, for instance, the present government were better in terms of economic policies or whatever they are doing, the pain of Buhari, what Buhari's government inflicted on us, whether as civilian or military government, whichever one you are looking at, the pain actually outweighed whatever gain we had during his tenure.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Last year we wrap up this afternoon on the BDTV Roundtable. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for being with me this afternoon. Thank you so very much. And that's a wrap for us on BDTV Roundtable this afternoon. My name is Joshua Bassi. Thank you for watching.